Public education's purpose, in my mind, is to develop future citizens, and with the background to solve problems and function in their community, whether it's to go on to higher education or even more into the what we'll call the technology and hands-on type. So main purpose is to develop future citizens. I think first of all you have to, there's kind of at least two major sources of information, and one is working with your own school superintendent and the local administration with their expertise in operation of schools. Of course, the second most, or not the second most important, the second is listening to the constituents, measuring their concerns, and trying to accomplish the best results we can for the local school district. Since I am excuse me, running for the at-large position, actually represent all of the patrons of the school district, and for that reason, and one of my main things that I think is very important, regardless of whether it was at large or specific, is this district is a community, and for the district to have the best possible outcomes, the community has to work and needs to work together. So I plan to represent the district as a whole and all its constituents. I think in the last year the communications from the school district is greatly improved, and that's a compliment to the administration. I think for that reason I would rate it level 7, and I think the other issue is when that information is out there, whether it's on the website, through the local newspapers, whatever, the patrons of the district, constituents of the district, need to really read that information and understand what's being said. Special education to me means those students that may have beyond the normal total classroom requirements to achieve their level of competency in the classroom. And I think that is very important to the district. We are all human beings, and we are all members of this community, and we should strive as much as possible to support all of our students. I think the school board, we need to look at two things. They've been making reductions the last 2 years, and so I believe been doing a reasonable job in a difficult situation. I believe the we'll say $600 or $600,000 of reduction for next year are, in light of everything, reasonable. We're probably spending some of the reserves we've had, but that's because the board's been doing a good job of laying back reserves to try to get through some of this transition period. So I think it is reasonable. I think it'll give us some time for patience to continue to come up with the best solutions we can. Very complicated question. I look at this as the district as a whole, and I believe all 3 locations do add value to the district, and this will be a continuing thing for a number of years. If we can provide education at each location and in a reasonable manner and for a reasonable cost, then 3 locations would make sense. You cannot just go through and say closing one location solves problems. A lot of these problems are not because of the locations, they're because of other funding sources that have been cut. So it's going to take patience, hard work, and I know all 3 communities are working hard to try to keep our student numbers up, which is the biggest thing we can do. Actually, a little further back, I really questioned about, after it was determined to close the Summerfield facility, to maybe put in more extensive maintenance than we needed for a year. That's probably one of the major ones. The other thing was perhaps even delaying the Summerfield closing. But again, the positive to that, instead of investing $500,000 to $1 million in a facility by the patients, we actually wound up and able to get that facility closed and integrate those students into the actual facility for a substantially less cost.